got through the holidays, did you? Okay, we did too. We had a great holiday season and with our church family, our personal family, had a great time. Went to my mom's for the first time in 2 years. Pandemic kind of got us there a little bit. But anyway, welcome. So glad you guys are connected today. Let me see, make sure that we had a little problem with this deal. Oh, yep, we're on for sure. And anyway, good things happening. Let me just stop right here and say this to you. You know that I've been pastoring 40 years, but now I'm in the real estate business and want to help ministry people make money. We want to help, want to develop a Christian network of just Christian people that want to support one another in their business endeavors as well as real estate. So if you have any real estate needs, please give me a call. All right, good to see you guys. We're on YouTube, The Real Estate Pastor. Also living in the Portland, Vancouver metro area. That's another one of our YouTube channels. Melissa and I do that pretty much. And then also, of course, what else is going on? We got some good stuff. We got fasting coming up for Rain Church here on the 8th. Pastor Joel and Sarah will be back in town. They'll be making their way back from Colorado on Wednesday and Thursday and ministering on fasting this week and just setting the tone for the year. Therese and I sowed a seed this Sunday to a little financial seed above our tithe. We sowed a financial seed to kind of get us on the right track for this year. I don't know about you, but I like to just establish things the way they are. I'm taking a little challenge from my own life. I was reading a Maxwell book yesterday, and he was talking about, or listened to a video by him, and then I'm reading a book. But he was talking about things he does every day. And he said, do I do them on Christmas? Yes. Do I do them on my birthday? Yes. Do I do them on every day? He reads, he prays, he writes, he thinks. There was one other thing. And he says, sometimes I do it 5 minutes a day. Sometimes I do it 5 hours a day. But I do it every single day. So I'm taking the challenge to do something every single day, to pray, to read, to write something. I might be writing out a message or something like that. So for me, being a speaker out there, like I'm going to be attending a real estate conference, and I probably won't be speaking at it, but I'm going to prepare a lesson as though I am speaking at it. I'm going to be, I've got messages that I'm going to be preaching in different churches, things like that, just to prepare myself. Because, something about success is when opportunity meets preparation, and opportunity meets that. So I'm taking the challenge to do something every day. So let's say hi to a few people this morning. I don't know. This, with this new networking thing we do here, I'm not sure. Let me see if I can remember how to do this one. Okay. Let's see if I can even say hi. Well, let me say something. Let me look at Facebook here because I've got it on my phone here. Pastor Jerry's on there this morning, and Sheila's on there, and Heidi Swenson's on there, and Cindy Holmes is on there, and Ray Snow, Pastor Ray, and Richard Harden, and Ann Penny's on there this morning, and Heather Kahn and July Wright, and there's a bunch of other people that I just can't see who they are. But anyway, welcome. Glad you're on there. And let's talk about the law. So we're talking about these biblical laws for success. And I want to talk to you today. I've got a breakfast at 7:30 here, so I'm getting my app ready to start my car up in just a couple minutes here. I'll start my car up, so I'll be warmed up. So I got to get out of here. It says I got 13 minutes to get there. It's a 7:30 breakfast, so I'm going to end up at. Let's talk about the law of sowing today. Galatians 6:7 says, "Be not deceived, God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, that will he also reap." I remember we had a little men's thing one time at our church, and there was a guy who turned out to be a crook. I won't tell you his name, but it turned out to be kind of a shady character. And I really liked the guy. I did a real estate deal with him and got ripped off. But he said something. He spoke to our men one time, and he said, this is like 35 years ago, so a long time ago. And he said, if I can guarantee you success, without fail, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. If I could get you to invest in something that will absolutely 100% bring you success, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts, it will happen. if you do this thing, would you be interested? And we all, yeah. And he read Galatians 6:9. He said, you're going to reap what you sow. He said, so if you want to have success in your life, you have to sow something along the lines that you want to succeed in. And I think it's really part of the things where, he says here in this particular verse, he says, be not deceived, God is not mocked. Whatever man sows, that will he also reap. So it was really a negative connotation here. And he says, the verse goes on and he says, if you sow to the flesh, you'll reap of the flesh. If you sow of the Spirit, you'll reap of the Spirit. So to me, it's about setting yourself up in life. And a lot of times people sow things in their life, and they sow things and they don't realize they're going to reap something down the road, but it didn't show up immediately. As a matter of fact, Ecclesiastes has a very good description of that. Ecclesiastes says it this way in Ecclesiastes chapter 8 and verse 11. He says, because a sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in to do evil. So in other words, what you do wrongly, let's say you go out and do something really stupid, and the next day you go, well, looks like I got away with that. No, you didn't get away with it, because the laws of reaping and sowing take time. And so it doesn't really matter what you did in a negative way. Eventually speaking, you will pay a price for it. And it doesn't matter what you did in a positive way either, because eventually speaking, you will reap the reward of it. You will reap what you sow. So reaping what we sow is really a long-term thing. Newton's laws of motion in the classical mechanics says all forces, I love this. So this is not just biblical, but it's actually Newton's law, or Newton discovered it, actually, or talked about it, discovered it, whatever. It says, Newton's laws of motion of classical mechanics, all forces occur in pairs such that it's one object exerts force on another object. Then the second object exerts an equal and opposite reaction force on the first. In other words, there's an equal and opposite reaction to everything you do. So it's important for us to realize that in life, there's always that law that you are going to reap what you sow. That's why for me, I've always been very careful when I sell it's always amazing to me. People sell a used car and they go, this thing's got a lot of problems. I'm gonna limp it together, get it to where basically what they're saying is I'm gonna sell this piece of crap to somebody else, and I'm gonna sell this and I'm going to get it running to make it seem like it's better than it is, then I'm going to dump this piece of crap on somebody else. You realize what you're saying? You realize you're going to reap something down the road. You're going to reap something down the road that I try to expose everything. If I'm selling a rental house or I'm selling stuff, I was like, oh, this is a problem, that's a problem, that's a problem. You still want to buy it. Here it is, but this is a problem. And I don't think you have to do everything. But I think it's important to kind of, if the transmission's going out and you somehow limp it along, you should probably tell everybody, well, that'll cost me money if I tell them the transmission's out. Well, it's going to cost them money, and you're going to reap what you sow. So for me, it's pretty important, and there's something about the longevity of our lives, of continuing on in our lives, that, if you tithe for 20 years, you're going to reap what you sow. If you get, well, I tried it and I did it for 3 years and I did it for a year here and a year there, you're probably not going to reap much. But if you realize that reaping what we sow really is a lifestyle, if you will. Proverbs 28:20 says this, a faithful man will abound with blessings. A faithful man will abound with blessings. Well, faithfulness isn't determined over a couple of years. I think about this with Jesus. I think about, he's called, the Bible, Revelation calls him faithful and true. And, and of course he existed before the foundations of the world, things like that. But I always think about this. Where did he develop the word faithful in his life? Could it have been in that 3.5 years of ministry? Yes, it definitely was. But I think that was only part of it. I think the word faithful started off when he was a child, and he's in there, the Bible talks about when he was 12 years old, he's in there in the temple, hanging out with the big dogs, speaking the word with them. He's faithful all those years. Probably we call it the 18 silent years. The Bible doesn't talk about what happened in those 18 silent years. People say, well, we don't know what he was doing. I do. He was being faithful. He was being loyal to his father in the construction business, the carpenter business that they had. He was being faithful in there. He was a faithful man, and he, of course, abounded with blessings. It was impossible. Now listen to this. Here's this law. It was impossible for Jesus not to reap good things because he reaped what he sowed. It's impossible for you not to reap good things if you sow good things in your life. You know, the Bible says in Genesis chapter 8, verse 22, it says, while the earth remains, there's seed time and harvest, cold and heat, winter and summer, and day and night shall not cease. Now, so he said the whole system here is set up on a seed time and harvest principle. Here's what Christians want to have happen, though. Seed time, harvest. But realistically, most of the time it's seed, time, and harvest. And there's a lot of time in between there because you don't get paid. You know, this life doesn't pay you overnight. You know, in Genesis chapter 26 and verse 12, and even if you sow in bad times, and this is where we always try to do this, as Teresa and I always try to sow even in our bad times. We try to sow when things aren't going good. We sow because we want to reap something down the road. In Genesis chapter 26, verse 12 says that Isaac sowed in the land and reaped in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. And the man began to prosper and continue prospering until he became very prosperous. For he had possessions of flocks and of herds and of great number of servants. So the Philistines envied him. You know, look, guys, complaining about your life, of where your lot in life is, complaining about your lot in life and all the negative things that, you know, have come upon you, will not help you in be a success. Now, there's a lot of us out here that have been abused. We were raised, we weren't raised properly. We weren't born with a silver spoon in our mouths. Where things happen. Now, you can sit here and in America, we like to complain about those things. We like to gripe about those things. We like to make excuses for those things. But the bottom line is, if you want to build a life, you're going to have to sow good things to reap good things, and you will reap good things. Now, if you have to sit here, and let me just say this, I don't know why this is coming to me, but if you sit here and your life is all, and right now you're thinking about, oh, let me think, when did I sow good things? You're probably not going to reap very much. If you can name your good things that you sowed, rather than, it should be a lifestyle. Who did you add value to today? Who did you add love to today? Who did you make financially their life easier today? Who did you reach out to today? Who did you bless today? Too early today, but you know what I'm saying on the generic sense. But who did you take off? Who did you sit there and think about, I'm going to get up this morning and I'm going to bring value to somebody else's life today? You'll reap what you sow in that area. Who am I going to give finances to? You will reap that sow in that area. That's why we tithe to our local church. Of course, we tithe to Rain Church. We give 10% of everything that comes in. Got a Christmas bonus this year from the church. I was very grateful. Where do we go? It's immediately we tithe on that. We tithe. Birthday money. Get a few $100s a birthday. Tithe on it. I tithe off of every single dollar. At 10% of my income. People say, well, I can't do that. Yes, you can do that. And you watch God do something. And I'm amazingly blessed. And I'd like to tell you it's because of my smarts and my ingenuity and my brains. But the reality is I've found a law that works for me. You shall reap what you sow. All right, first off, though, you got to be born again. You must be born again to enter the kingdom of heaven. I don't care what relationship or what religion you put on it. Have you made Jesus the Lord of your life? Has he become your Savior? Because then you get to reap the substitutionary work of Calvary that he paid the price for us. How do you do that? You confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus, believe in your heart God raised him from the dead, you'll be saved. Romans 10, 9 and 10. And hit me up about real estate. We got a lot of real estate stuff going on right now. Hit me up. We got a great team. Got a great team in Oregon to help you. We have Brooke over there. Got Melissa and Jen over here. Myself. We can help you guys out all the way from the coast to Longview. And here's the other thing. If you're watching me across the nation, hit me up, man. I can benefit from this. I can get a referral fee by recommending a realtor to you. Hit me up on that. I love you guys and believe in you. Start sowing good seed today and watch you reap.